loved your version of The Great Gatsby. I just want to throw that out there. That's one of my greatest films, so shout out to you on that.
Thank you.
My question to you is, how did you choose to take it kind of from Colonel's perspective?
Yeah.
And because we love the Colonel. We had the honor of meeting his wife as well, and we have a little gift for you as well on behalf of Colonel's estate. But we love Colonel Parker, and we just wanted to ask, you know, how did you decide to take it from that perspective?
You know, it's this, and I think Tom was a great instrument in this. In that he says, the Colonel says at the beginning of this, something, I'm the villain. It's easy to make me the villain. Now, it's so complicated because, you know, it's a relationship. Like, there's always going to be an eternal question, right? Elvis without Colonel, Colonel without Elvis, chicken and egg, all of that. And I'm not here to in any way take a point of view of that. I think what we do in telling the story is that we say, you know, the Colonel kind of says it. We were both kids. If you know anything about the Colonel's background, we both had giant holes in our heart. We both had trauma. We both wanted to be something special. We both soared. And absolutely, there's transgression there for sure. You know, we know about all of that. But the truth is, with the Colonel's deep dark secret, and the fact is, he did not want Elvis to perform outside of America. He did not want that to happen, right? Having said that, the man was a genius. Like, he invented the satellite. He found ways of this problem of his, of turning into maximizing Elvis's reach. And you know, I always think of this story, and I don't know what to think about this story. I think it's true. It's not in the movie. But I believe, from the research that I've done, is that when Elvis passed and the Colonel got the call, the Colonel's next call was to RCA to print more records. And I know a lot of people in this room will go, what a heartless, cold person. But the Colonel might say, yeah, but you wanted the records. Like, with the busing, you want the records. And we'll go like, oh, that's just you, but your money. And it's so complicated because he's just not a simple villain. Because by all accounts, he could be the most charismatic, like he was a giant character, you know? And it was such a complicated relationship. But in the end, I think, like any marriage, there probably was a point at which it wasn't helpful, you know? And Elvis Bibi has that line where he says, if you don't do the business will do you. And you know, it's something that younger people don't understand. They know, they're very interested in this film because they're very interested in instant fame. You can get on a TikTok and have 20 million followers the next day, you're famous. But when Elvis came along, the teenager had just been invented. The idea of young people with money was a new idea. There was no precedent for the idea of someone driving a truck 1 minute and being a millionaire and the most famous man on the planet 18 months later. There was no one before that. So, you know, I remember later on, even in the press interviews, they asked Vernon, what do you remember? He said, it all happened in a flash. And Elvis said, yeah, it all happened very fast. My mum and dad I don't think they ever got ready for it, you know? So on top of everything else, there was that. So, by the way, I really appreciate the t-shirt. That's a very cool t-shirt. And, you know, that's what the story's about. It's Shakespearean. In the end, actually, there's a sadness in the way both of them ended. You know, like, he did end up running around, putting his money in slot machines. And Elvis's physical life didn't end that well either. But what was left behind is what has carried so many people in this room through life, you know? And that's what I think is the hope and the beauty. And my job is to make sure, is to help with this storytelling, is that flame burns once again as bright as it possibly can, you know?
Thank you.